Apple just pulled a massive curveball. If you thought the recent Mac Mini redesign was the absolute peak of compact desktop computing, the latest industry leaks regarding the upcoming M5 Mac Mini will completely change your perspective. The performance leap Apple is preparing behind closed doors is honestly staggering. We are talking about a desktop computer no bigger than a stack of CD cases that could easily outperform the massive, power-hungry PC towers of just a couple of years ago. But there is a very specific catch with the higher-end M5 Pro model that could completely change your buying decision, and we are going to break down exactly what that is. Welcome back to Tech Vibe, the only channel you need for the most authentic, cutting-edge tech insights. Every single week, we dive deep into the tech world to bring you the truth behind the headlines. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap the bell icon so you never miss out on our deep dives. We do not just read the spec sheets, we analyze what they actually mean for you and your workflow. Let us get right into the highly anticipated Apple M5 Mac Mini. To understand why the M5 Mac Mini is generating so much buzz, we have to quickly look back at what Apple did with the M4 generation. Late in 2024, Apple finally gave the Mac Mini the physical glow-up we had been begging for since the Steve Jobs era. They shrunk the entire enclosure down to a stunning 5 by 5-inch footprint and brought essential ports to the front of the machine. It was a massive win for aesthetics and usability. But while the M4 redesign was all about changing the physical shell, the upcoming M5 generation is all about an absolute brain transplant. Apple is keeping that gorgeous, ultra-compact design, but they are stuffing it with next-generation silicon that is entirely engineered around the future of computing, artificial intelligence. According to heavily vetted reports from industry heavyweights, Apple is gearing up to launch the M5 Mac Mini later in 2026. While the base M5 chip actually made its debut in late 2025, and the M5 Pro hit the MacBook Pro lineup earlier this year, the Mac Mini has been sitting on the sidelines, waiting for its turn. The wait, however, is going to be incredibly worth it. The standard M5 chip and the powerhouse M5 Pro chip are built on the same incredibly efficient 3nm architecture as their predecessors, but Apple has completely overhauled the GPU design to focus on on-device machine learning. This brings us to the biggest draw of the M5 generation, the brand new neural accelerator built directly into every single GPU core. Apple is not just throwing raw speed at the wall anymore, they are specifically targeting on-device AI. Leaks suggest this new architecture provides up to 3.5 times the artificial intelligence performance compared to older high-end chips. For you, this means rendering times plummet, massive code compilations finish before you can even take a sip of coffee, and complex, AI-driven tasks in software like Final Cut Pro, Logic, and Adobe Creative Cloud happen completely on the device. There is zero lag and zero cloud processing required, which means your private data stays exactly where it belongs, right on your machine. Let us talk about memory, because this is where things get incredibly interesting, and this is that massive catch I mentioned earlier. For years, Apple was heavily criticized for starting their base model Macs with an abysmal 8 GB of unified memory. They finally fixed that in the previous generation by making 16 GB the standard. We can confidently say that the M5 Mac Mini will absolutely retain 16 GB as the bare minimum starting point. However, with the heavy integration of advanced, on-device Apple Intelligence features, background tasks are going to demand more RAM than ever before. The rumor mill is strongly indicating that the M5 Pro variant of the Mac Mini might start at an unprecedented 24 GB of unified memory. But because of ongoing global memory supply constraints that have already forced Apple to quietly adjust prices across their current lineups, the price gap between the base M5 and the M5 Pro could be the largest we have ever seen in Mac Mini history. You are going to have to decide if that massive leap in unified memory and AI graphics power is worth what could be a very steep premium. If you are finding this breakdown helpful so far, please take a second to like the video. It tells the YouTube algorithm that Tech Vibe is delivering value, and it helps us keep creating these tech deep dives for you. Moving on to connectivity and storage, the M5 Mac Mini is shaping up to be an absolute dream for professional setups. On the base M5 model, you can expect the standard 512 GB of lightning-fast solid-state storage. But the real upgrade comes in the wireless department. Apple is widely expected to introduce Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 6.0 to the desktop lineup with this machine. Wi-Fi 7 is a massive deal for a desktop computer. If you have a compatible router, you are looking at drastically reduced latency and multi-gigabit speeds over the air, essentially making a physical Ethernet cable obsolete for all but the most demanding local server environments. For the ports, Apple is not messing with the winning formula of the 5x5 chassis. You are still going to get two front-facing USB-C ports supporting up to 10 gigabits per second, alongside a high-impedance 3.5mm audio jack right where you can actually reach it. Around the back, things differ depending on which brain you choose. The standard M5 Mac Mini will rock 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, an HDMI port, and your choice of gigabit or 10 gigabit Ethernet. But if you shell out for the M5 Pro model, those rear ports are getting a massive upgrade to Thunderbolt 5. This doubles the bidirectional bandwidth up to 80 gigabits per second, and can even boost up to 120 gigabits per second for video-intensive workloads. If you run multiple high-resolution displays or edit directly off massive external solid-state drives, Thunderbolt 5 on the M5 Pro is going to make your workflow feel completely frictionless. So, when exactly can you get your hands on this tiny powerhouse, and what will the investment look like? Initially, expectations were set for an early 2026 release. However, due to the aforementioned supply chain variables and Apple staggering their desktop launches so they do not cannibalize MacBook sales, the most reliable analysts are currently pointing toward a mid to late 2026 release window. As for pricing, we have to look at the recent market trends. Apple recently bumped the base price of their older Mac Mini lineup up to $799. Given the inflation of component costs and the sheer capability of the M5 silicon, you should fully expect the base M5 Mac Mini to start at that same $799 mark. The M5 Pro model, however, is a different beast entirely. Given the expected bump to 24 GB of unified memory and the Thunderbolt 5 controllers, the M5 Pro Mac Mini will likely command a starting price well north of $1,500. At the end of the day, the upcoming M5 Mac Mini represents a fundamental shift in what a compact computer is actually meant to do. It is no longer just the entry-level Mac for switchers and basic home offices. With the M5 and M5 Pro chips, it is transforming into a dedicated, local AI processing node that just happens to fit on the corner of your desk. Whether you are a software engineer compiling massive projects, a video editor working with high bitrate footage, or just a power user who refuses to compromise on speed, this little machine is being custom-built to tear through your workflow. The performance per watt is simply unmatched in the industry right now, making it one of the most compelling desktop upgrades Apple has ever released. What are your thoughts on this upcoming release? Is the promise of massive on-device AI performance and Wi-Fi 7 enough to make you upgrade, or is the rising base price starting to push the Mac Mini out of its traditional sweet spot? Share your thoughts down in the comments section below. We read every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to subscribe to Tech Vibe, like the video, and share it with anyone thinking about upgrading their desktop setup this year. Stay curious, stay ahead of the curve, and we will catch you in the next one.